Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All the world is a stage. It's a poem by William Shakespeare. And as I have students, as I have shared with you in the written notes in the WhatsApp group, that this all the world is a stage is a phrase coined by Shakespeare that begins a monologue from his play. It's a pastoral comedy titled as You Like It. Shakespeare, you should remember, is a famous British poet of 16th century, Elizabethan poet है. Elizabethan poet भी कहते हैं शेक्सपियर को, but he is famously known for his dramas. He is a dramatist. He is famously known for his 4 tragedies. So students should remember the 4 great tragedies written by Shakespeare: Macbeth, Hamlet, Othello, and King Lear. These are the 4 great tragedies written by Shakespeare. This poem in our course, in our syllabus, is taken from his comedy. It's a comedy, As You Like It, and it's a speech by one of the characters in the play, in the comedy. And it's a form of a monologue. Monologue means mono, one, log, speech, one person speaking. And I recite the poem. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. So let's first explain these lines, then we'll read the next lines. So the poet says that all the world is a stage. As you can notice, the metaphor of stage being used for the entire life, for the whole world. The poet compares this life, this world, with a stage. It's a theatrical metaphor related to theatre, stage life, stage drama. उससे रिलेटेड उसका है. ही वॉज अ ड्रामेटिस्ट, तो उसने उसी से रिलेटेड मेटाफोर यूज़ किया. तो अब आप पॉइंट्स नोट करते जाएं कि इस यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर, एनालाइज, इवेल्युएट दिस पोएम with reference to this poem as a metaphorical poem, the use of irony, humor, and satire in the poem. So the poet says, and then he goes on to explain why does he call the world a stage, and all the men and women merely players. He says that all the people, all the humans, can be called the actors who are playing their roles assigned to them. They have their exits and their entrances. And the writer has first mentioned and exits. People leave and people come. The writer has mentioned death before the birth. Entrance is the birth, exit is the death. And one man in his time plays many parts. So he says each person plays different parts in his lifetime, his acts being 7 ages. And he says that his role consists of 7 stages or 7 ages or 7 phases of life. First and foremost role क्या है? At first, the infant. So when a baby is born, it's an infant, mewling and puking. Mewling means crying, puking means vomiting. As you know, babies vomit milk when they are newborn in the nurse's arms. So the first stage of human life consists of infancy, and then the whining schoolboy. Whining means complaining. So as you grow up, as the humans grow up, they are sent to schools, and usually children are reluctant. Whining means complaining, reluctant, unhappy to go to school. With his satchel. Satchel means, students kindly write, school bag. So he's carrying his school bag and shining morning face. It's a bright, beautiful face of the school going child. Creeping like snail. You have to circle like, because a simile has been used here. It's an interesting simile which is humorous also, that because the child is unwilling, unhappy to go to school, so he's creeping like a snail. Snail, you know, is considered the slowest moving creature. So he is unhappy, unwilling, and unwillingly to school. He is moving to school at the slowest possible speed. Third stage, you have to mark number 3 here. Number 1 infancy पे mark करें, number 2 school going boy. Number 3, school going boy or girl, child कह लें. Number 3 is the lover. Then the lover, the youth. The school going child grows into a young person. Sighing like a furnace. Like, again you have to circle and you notice that the poet has used metaphors and similes in the extended form of these devices. He says, he compares the young man with a furnace. Furnace is the fireplace. So youth is full of passions, full of the hotness of emotions. He's sighing. Sighing means he's remembering his beloved, his or her beloved, with a woeful ballad. Woeful means sad, ballad song, and they are singing songs of love, songs of love for the beloved. Made to his mistress. Mistress means beloved. Mistress's eyebrow. Eyebrow means beauty. His face, her face. His mistress's face. So his songs are about the beauty of his mistress's face, about the yearning, longing, desire for the mistress. Next stage, number 4 stage, is then a soldier. Soldier means he or she, the person has to become a responsible adult. Soldier is the fighter. It could be literally the soldiers, or it could be the fighter in life. You have to accept the responsibilities and take up the role. Every human has to take up the role of responsibility. Full of strange oaths. Oaths means promises. So this role has to be fulfilled, and there are different strange type of promises, different unknown strange assignments that an adult has to meet head on and to deal with. And bearded like the pard. Pard is the leopard. Leopard जिसको कहते हैं ना, cheetah. So this young man is also bearded, means it grows the beard. That beard also shows maturity and age and adulthood. Jealous in honor. So this man becomes competitive as the man becomes an adult. He's growing into a competitive person who is competing for honor, for status, for wealth and power. Sudden and quick in quarrel. And at this stage, in the adult stage, humans are usually quick in temper. Quick means short tempered. They quickly pick fights and engage in conflicts. एक दूसरे के साथ लड़ाई झगड़ा करने में भी उनका टेम्परामेंट बड़ा शार्प हो जाता है इस एडल्टहुड में. सीकिंग द बबल रेपुटेशन. और वो ये सब लड़ाई झगड़े क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि वो क्या तलाश कर रहे हैं? सीकिंग मीन्स सर्चिंग. बबल रेपुटेशन. अब बबल रेपुटेशन क्या है? मेटाफोर. इसके साइड पे लिखें काइंडली. बबल रेपुटेशन यानी रेपुटेशन इज़ लाइक अ बबल विच इज़ वेरी वल्नरेबल एंड इट गोज़ अवे विद जस्ट अ बैड टच. जस्ट वन बैड टच में ruin the reputation. So this is ironic, this is satirical, that human beings engage in so much strife and struggle and competition for the sake of what? Reputation, which is no more than a bubble. Today it is there and tomorrow it is gone. So the irony you can see, girls, here I would like you to remember and differentiate between character and reputation. Character is something that is innate. When people work on themselves and they have set the right priorities in life, and they stand up for truth, and they stand up for integrity and honesty, and try to inculcate these values in their lives, these values of goodness, honesty, transparency, sincerity, having one face inside out, builds character. Reputation is an outside affair. It's an external matter. Reputation depends on how people perceive the person. So one should be careful and worried about building character, and one should not be overly worried about reputation, because reputation depends on other people, and disapproval of other people should not matter as long as the person is upright and of good character. Therefore, there is irony that people are not worried about character building. They are fighting, struggling for the reputation, which is bubble, like a bubble. Bubble means which is temporary. And you will also notice that the whole theme of the poem is also about the temporariness, transience quality, impermanence of life, reputation, success, uh, love, everything is temporary. And here you should be immediately reminded of that sonnet by John Keats, When I Have Fears, that we discussed yesterday. His theme in that sonnet is also the same, that everything is impermanent, nothing is permanent, nothing is forever. So human beings should not stick to things, stick to these concepts of love and success and achievements too much. One should be sincere, and one should work on cultivating the permanent values of sincerity and transparency. And one should not worry about these temporary ideals of reputation. Even in the cannon's mouth, the line continues in the second part, that man is seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. Cannons again reminds you of the imagery of army, the image of a soldier. Cannon is the weapon of war, जिसको उर्दू में हम तोप का गोला कहते हैं. So that man would be ready to even sacrifice his life to win bubble reputation, to win the medal of a hero. And then the justice, and then the next stage is even mature senior stage, in fair round belly with good capon lined. Capon is the chicken, and in Shakespeare's time, in the matters of court, bribery was common, and people were in the habit of giving chicken, which is an expensive form of chicken because it was bred in special circumstances. So people would use chicken as a bribe to be given to the judges with fair round belly. A fair is used ironically here. It could be the complexion, the fair complexion of the judges. It could also show the unfairness, the underhand dealings that they were engaging in. That is the element of irony here. That human beings, as they grow mature, they are worried about their reputation and they are not working on their character. Therefore, they become greedy, and they become immoral, corrupt. That round belly is a metaphor for corruption at this point, because they are accepting bribes in order to give justice, and this is no justice which is given in favor of as a favor. Favors are not justice. Justice is done on merit. Therefore, you can see irony in these lines. With eyes swear and beard of formal cut. So this is generally as the human beings have matured and accumulated a lot of wealth and power. Their eyes have become hardened. Their faces have become hardened. Their hearts have become hardened, and their appearances have become more perfect. Beard of formal cut. So their appearance, beard here is the symbol of appearance, which shows that they are very formal and they are very concerned about their physical appearance. How do they look to the world? And they are least bothered about the moral corruption that they are engaged in, and that is killing their souls. Full of wise saws, and the more corrupt they are, the more saws means proverbs or the moral lessons. So the more corrupt they are, and the more deceptive they become as they share the proverbs, the moral lessons. So that's where we see there's a gap between words and actions. Their actions are corrupt, morally degenerate, and their words, the speeches that they give, those speeches are full of moral lessons and modern instances, and they give examples of good character, good behavior, which they themselves are not following. And so he plays his part. So the role he is playing is of deceiver. He is deceiving people into thinking that he is a very honest and upright person just by speaking good words, talking about moral lessons. Actually, he is not implementing those lessons in practical life to himself. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon. So as he grows older, the body becomes thinner, and the pantaloon is the pant becomes loose on his body because his body is becoming lean, thin, weak, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. Look at the graphic image. We can say vivid image. Vivid means very clear image. Vivid image of a man who has grown old. He is wearing spectacles on nose. That shows he is very he has grown old, and that he is very careful. His eyesight is weak, but he is very careful. And pouch on side is the metaphor or symbol of the wealth that he has accumulated by hook or by crook. Rightful means, or by corrupt means he has been able to gather a lot of wealth. This pouch is the symbol of wealth that the man has gained mostly through corruption. And then, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved. Hose means his stockings, his savings, that money that he accumulated in his youthful years. A world too wide for his shrunk shank. Shank means body, shrunk means which has become very thin. Shrink ho gayi hai na uski body because he is growing old. And his big manly voice turning again. Again means the cycle of life is coming full circle. The cycle of life is becoming complete. He is once again turning toward childish treble. Pipes means feeble voice. As he speaks, you can hear air through his voice, because his voice has become as weak as his body. And whistles in his sound. And when he speaks, usually you may notice some old people become chronic patients of asthma. If you remember Goodbye Mr. Chips that you have studied in FA second year, Mr. Chips would speak. As he would speak, there would be a lot of whistles in his voice. Because of weakness, because of asthma, all these are the images that the writer has used to evoke the old age and the weakness that the old people have to experience. Last scene of all. So this is the seventh last stage that ends this strange eventful history. Eventful means a life full of exciting events. But this stage ends that history, that life, is second childishness. What is this last stage? Second childishness. He becomes a child once again. And more is second childishness and mere oblivion. Mere means only. Oblivion, forgetfulness. Dementia भी हो जाता है बस old people को when the old age is prolonged. They suffer from the loss of memory. Oblivion means forgetfulness or loss of memory. Sans teeth. Sans means without teeth. So in this last stage, when the old man has become a child again, helpless, dependent on others, just like an infant, he has lost his teeth. Sans means without teeth. Sans eyes. Sans eyes means without the good eyesight, without the ability to see clearly. Sans, again, without taste. He cannot taste things. Sans everything. So that's the end of life. Here you see that the poem ends on the death scene, and the person has died. Even when he is in the last stage, you can see he has lost his eyesight, his teeth, his sense of taste. Everything is lost. The person can no more enjoy and cherish the beauties, the bounties, the tastes of life anymore. So this is the life cycle of an average man. Now we have all the right to think how this average cycle of life can be upgraded, up-leveled, how this cycle of life can be improved, transformed through working on building character. And character can be built through moral uprightness, moral clarity. And all the writers that we have studied so far, all those writers focus our attention on the fact that human beings are supposed to work and cultivate sincerity of purpose and purity of heart. And in A Poison Tree, the writer, the romantic poet, William Blake, has said very clearly that human beings should not have grudges in their hearts, and that they should work to become more communicative and hold conversations instead of having grudges in their hearts. And people who refuse to be open, who reject communication, who reject conversations, healthy dialogues, those are the people who have to be avoided at every cost. That toxicity cannot be allowed in life, because everyone deserves truth, everyone deserves to live life with joy and confidence. And people who do not allow healthy communication are unhealthy people. Therefore, everyone should try to work on their moral health, emotional health, psychological health, and that ultimately leads up to the spiritual elevation. Spiritual elevation means becoming spiritually rich, connected to God, connected to nature, connected to oneself, and all this, and connected to other people in the real sense. Okay, girls, thank you. There is students, there is this question: what is similar in first and last stage of life? You see, in both stages, the cycle from first to the last stage, the cycle has come full circle. The infant who is helpless and dependent has grown into a young man and then an old man, and once again that old man is as helpless and as dependent on others as when he used to be an infant. तो ये सिमिलैरिटी है, और इसका मतलब क्या है? व्हाट इज़ द राइटर ट्राइंग टू से? द राइटर इज़ ट्राइंग टू शो the helplessness of man. So what strengthens, what empowers human beings is their ability to cultivate moral standards in life. Moral standards that are not just verbal, that are also practically implemented, that are also practically applied to life. That is the only solution to all the human problems. Every poet teaches us that the only solution to all the human problems of anxiety, stress, distrust, tension is to try to become emotionally healthy, morally upright, psychologically open to discussion. The more silent we are, human beings, when they are not willing to improve themselves, when they are not willing to be open about the importance of moral standards in life, they usually then become stressful. And they don't just become stressful themselves, they are the ones who cause stress to other people also, by being insincere, by being disrespectful to others. You must have noticed, students, that people who are disrespectful to others, who taunt others, who find faults with others, and when you address them, you try to explain the point, they don't acknowledge you. Those are the people who are dissatisfied with themselves, and they want others to be equally dissatisfied with themselves. They don't want happy, healthy people around.